which is called literal equations, okay? Now, when we're talking about literal equation, what we're talking about is, this is old school. This is what we've been working on, right? So we've got 3m minus 9 equals 24. What we're going to move into is something that looks like this, where we have multiple variables involved now, okay? Now, the nice thing is if you can solve this, you can solve this, because it's going to be the same process. So what I've done for most of the notes, and same thing for your homework, is I have put, here's kind of the old school way, and then here's lots of variables, okay? And these are going to directly relate. So 1a and 1b are the same type of problem, just with numbers and letters. 2a, 2b, same thing. This is almost all numbers. This one has more letters involved, okay? But you're going to solve them the same way. So I put them side by side just while you're trying to figure it out. And then towards the end, it'll be the same thing on your homework. Towards the end, I then take away the helper, okay? And you're just trying to do it on your own, okay? All right, so let's go up here at top. Literal equations is a formula or equation with several variables. Okay, so formula or equation with several variables.
Okay.
Okay, so now if we look at 1a here, how would you solve this? What would we do first? Thomas, starts off.
Add the 9 over.
Good. So we'd start just by adding 9. So those cancel. So 3m equals, what's 24 plus 9? Good, 33. All right, and then what would our next step, Thomas, be?
Divide by 3.
Good, divide by 3. So what would m equal?
11.
11. Good, guys. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the exact same thing on 1b. Okay? So it's going to tell you what letter to solve for. So we're going to solve for m, and I like to kind of mark the m so I know what I need to get by itself. Okay? So it's the same concept. You're still going to get that letter all by itself. So we've got to move this and this guy over to the other side. Okay? So, just like on this, what was our first step over here? Add 9. So what do you think your first step here would be? Okay, but 9 what? N squared. Okay, so we're going to take the whole thing and move it over. Okay? So I'm going to add 9n squared to both sides. So that cancels. So 3m equals 24 plus 9n squared. Okay, you can't add those together because one has an n and the other one doesn't have an n. Rylan, you okay?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, my eyes are itching like badly.
Okay, can you go on yours?
Probably.
Okay. Can you get down on your own? You want someone to take it over with you?
Oh, I can see.
Okay. She's down the SLC. I'll go there and see what she can do for you, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we've got the 9n squared. We moved it to the other side. Now, you can't put those together. N squared and no variable, okay? Now, what would our last step here be? Divide by, right, because we're going to get the m by itself, okay? So still trying to get that m by itself. So we're going to divide by 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide all parts by 3. Everything gets divided by 3. So we've got m equals, what's 24 divided by 3?
8.
And then what is 9 divided by 3?
3.
So we get 8 plus 3n squared.
We could just leave the.
Yeah, and this is your answer. This is all you do. You just want to get that variable by itself.
So you don't have to do anything with n.
No.
No, we're solving for it.
No. Okay? Alright, so let's try the next one. Okay, so here's your old school one. What would we do here on this?
Times -5.
Okay, Chase says multiply both sides by -5. I think that's a great idea. So we're going to multiply both sides by -5. The 5's will cancel, so you have n plus 2 left on that right-hand side, and -50 left on the left-hand side. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, Sophie, what would I do now?
Subtract it.
Good, subtract the 2 off. So -52 equals n. Okay? Alright, so again, we're going to do the same process on the second one, just with letters now. Okay? So if I look at 2b here, Okay, again, if you need to highlight or kind of mark, you're solving for the n, so I want to get that guy all by itself. So I start off with doing what, Grayson?
Multiply by 5.
Okay, good,
Negative 5.
good. Multiply by -5. So now I have a -5p. The -5 on the right-hand side cancel. And I have n plus m. Okay, well, do we have the n all by itself yet?
Oh, no.
So what could I do then to get the n all by itself?
Subtract n.
Good, subtract the m. So subtract m from both sides. So that cancels. And we get -5p minus m equals n. Okay?
That's like all of it.
Now, does it matter if I put the negative m out front or back? Nope, doesn't matter. Okay? So if you have this flip-flop, that's the same thing, and that would be okay. Yes, ma'am.
How come the P is negative 5? Why is that?
Because we multiply both sides by -5. Okay? Yes, sir.
Why is math no longer numbers?
Because we wanted to make your life difficult. We wanted to rock your world. Okay?
Oh.
How hard can we make it? All right, so 3a here. What are we going to do on this guy?
Divide.
Divide by -3.
Good. Divide by -3. And so what would our answer here be?
Negative 8.
Good. So -8 equals r. Okay? -8 equals r. All right. So let's go over to 3b now.
There are no numbers.
Okay? So now on 3b here, we're solving for r. Okay, so how do I get the t over to the other side? Jimmy, what do you think here?
Divide by the RT.
Okay, but if I want to keep r there.
R by T.
Good, so let's divide by the t. Move the t over, because we want to get r by itself. It says solve for
R.
r, so we leave r alone. We want to move everything else to the other side. So since this is saying r times t, to undo the multiplication, we divide by t. Okay? All right, and so we end up with d divided by t equals r. Okay? So again, it's the same thing we just did here on 3a. We divided by 3, we're dividing by t in this case. Okay? All right, let's go on to the other side here. Okay? All right, 4a. What would we do to solve this?
Whoops. Add 8.
Add 8, good, okay. So we're going to add 8 over. Now let's not overthink this. What is a half plus 8?
8.5.
Very good, 8.5. Don't yell 4, that means you're multiplying, not adding. Okay, so an 8.5, 8 plus a half is 8.5. And then we still have the a divided by 4. Okay, now what would we do?
Multiply by 4.
Good. Grayson says multiply both sides by 4. She's correct. Those cancel. Okay. So now we need to take 8.5 times 4. We'll leave it there. Wait on you guys. 8.5 times 4.
I forgot our things could do fractions.
Well, remember 8.5 same thing as 8.5. So you just put 8.5 times 4. Same thing.
34.
Okay, good. So you get 34. I'll check the settings probably setting. Okay, so a equals 34. Okay, so now when I go over here to 4b, okay, we're going to solve for the a. So we're going to get that a all by itself. So what's the first thing I need to do here? Good, add the 8. Okay, so I'm going to add 8 over. So I have a divided by b equals, and I'm just going to put c divided by b plus 8. So I'm just tacking on the 8 on the end there.
Oh, okay.
Okay? All right, now how do I get that a by itself? What do I need to do
Multiply b.
now? Say that again.
Multiply b.
Good. Okay. So now I'm going to multiply both sides by b. So the b's cancel over here. I get a equals. Now I have to be careful here. I am going to have to multiply both parts by b.
Both?
Yep, both parts need to be multiplied by b, or you think about distributing the b. Okay? So now, I know it seems a little tricky here, okay, but if we think about our fraction rules, if I put the b over 1, okay, and I multiply fractions, I'm going to take c times b, and get cb, d times 1, and get d, okay? So when I distribute the b, I'm going to get cb divided by d. Does that make sense? Okay, and then here, I'm gonna take 8 times b, just ab, so plus 8b.
Wait, so
Wait, so
the
what
B, the
happens
B
to the
only
B?
affects the top half.
Right, the b, yeah. So if you wanna put the 8 over 1, the b's just go to the top. Okay? Alright, now there's a correction on this one. I want you to change, it said for p, I want you to change it for x. We're gonna solve for x here. Okay, so solve for x. What do you guys wanna do here for this one? What do you guys think?
Distribute it from.
Okay, that'll be fine, so we're gonna distribute the p to both parts. Okay, so we're gonna get px plus py equals z. So notice I took away the helper, okay? This is just you trying to solve it. Okay, so now what are some ideas to get that x by itself? Thomas?
Subtract the py over.
Good. Subtract py over to the other side. So I have px equals z minus py. Alright, now what would my last step here be to get the x by itself? No, okay, so we subtracted, we put the py to the other side, right, by subtracting it? Remember, we're trying to get the x by itself.
Divide by p.
We're gonna divide by p, very good, okay? So we're gonna divide this guy by p and this whole guy by p. Okay, so that cancels, and you've got x equals, now you can just leave it like this, z minus py over p, okay? That would be fine, you can do it that way. Okay, does anybody have a question on that? Okay, I want you to try 6 on your own real quick. Try 6 on your own.